Hello and welcome to the day one lecture for Upward Bound Advanced Math. We're looking at cryptology in this class, and so I wanted to start off with a couple definitions that sort of break down what cryptology is a little bit, but also to give us some common language that we can all use and be able to talk about. So cryptography is kind of the first one that I have here. And it is the process of encrypting, not encryption, but encrypting, or I'm going to say, I'm going to use that as disguising a message. Okay, so it's the process of turning just a normal message into something that somebody else can't intercept. Okay, there's always the idea of getting a message from Alice to Bob. Classic cryptology names there for getting a message from A to B, knowing that in the middle here we have Eve that likes to eavesdrop, and we want to be able to pass the message by Eve, and knowing that Eve can listen to this message, and we don't want her to understand what the message says. Okay, cryptanalysis is another process of, it kind of takes on two different heads, and I'm going to talk about those two as we get going through here. But I'm going to say a process of decrypting or cracking, and there is a difference, a coded message. Okay, decrypting or cracking a coded message. And that's what cryptanalysis is. Cryptology is, ology is a study. So this is the study of kind of the previous two. Study of cryptography and cryptanalysis. Okay, so it's the study of all this stuff together. That's why what we're looking at is cryptology. We want to kind of know how to code things, how to encrypt. We also want to know how to decrypt, and a little bit on the cracking idea. So I'm going to let you fill in these two. I'm just going to talk about them just verbally here. Well, I'll probably write something, but there's kind of three heads to this cryptology dragon, if you will. Encryption is going from a straightforward message. So I'm just going to say that it's from a message into a code, a coded message. Decryption is, and the idea is we would know how to do this because it's decrypting from the code to the message. And then what I don't have on here is what we call cracking. Okay, and cracking is almost the same as decryption, except we don't know how to get from A to B. The idea is in decryption, you're playing the role of Bob. Okay, Bob would decrypt whatever message Alice sent. Alice encrypted the message to send it. Then if Eve is going to figure out what it is, Eve has to crack the code. Okay, so that's kind of the three heads of this dragon. We have encryption, which is, putting it into a coded message. We have decryption, where I know how to do this. I just have to, turn what I'm given into normal writing. And then we have cracking, which is I don't know how, but I'm going to try to solve the puzzle, if you will, and try to figure out what people are trying to say behind my back. And then we have two versions of writing, because most of what we're doing today, doing in this class, is going to be letter-based. So we have what we call plain text and ciphertext. This is words are hard. The plain text is I'm going to say original message. And the ciphertext is the coded message. Okay? An easy way to make heads and tails of these is plain text is, I know what it is, or plain text is, it makes sense, right? And then ciphertext is going to be, well, that doesn't really matter. Those aren't words that you've presented me with. Some important things that I will try to do my best of, there's sometimes that it's really difficult for me because of just normal writing that we do, but plain text is always going to be lowercase. Ciphertext will always be uppercase, capitalized. I kind of lost my notes on these. This is quite a while after we started this class, but just some basic history of cryptology. There are some, it goes back a lot of years. It goes back to, 400 BC is kind of the first instance that I noted about it. I'm trying to see if I have those notes nearby. I'm not gonna work too hard on it. But there are some huge points throughout history with sending coded messages. You think back to early wars, messages were sent, especially in the world wars. There were some very popular ways to send messages, and there's a very widespread use of cryptology. I should say there's one cipher that a lot of people know, a lot of people are taught how to use it and kind of what it is, and it ends up at this 1835. This is when Morse code is invented. Okay, so we think about the history of cryptology, and I'm not going to fill in all these. I did in class. Since then, I've kind of lost those notes as to what goes in each spot. But cryptology goes back all the way back through here, where different things are used, different types of, different methods of sending messages, sending coded messages, or I guess it's really different ways to code messages. Date back to 400 BC. I know what that one is. It made sense in class because I showed it. I don't have that on me right now, so I'm not going to stress too much about it. But one of the earliest ways to send a coded message was, let me look for it over on the side, and then I'll bring it back up. What was it? Yeah, there it is. Was this used in Spartans used this a lot. It's called a scitale, and it's a style of cipher where what somebody sees is just a strip of paper or a strip of leather most of the time. But then when you wrap it around a certain sized object, words start to form. Okay. It says here that the scitale is a transposition cipher. And you kind of have to read one line after another. And so when it all is said and done, it shows you, this one says, kill king tomorrow midnight. It shows you a plain text message, but if you're just transporting that piece of leather, think about what those letters would be like if it was just along that strip. It would start KTM, and then maybe some space or maybe some other letters, and then IOI, LMD, on down this strip of leather. But when you wrap it around the right-sized object, it ends up making a plain text message. Okay, so that was back in 400 BC, kind of the first documented use of what we call the skitale. Okay, and it's just one type of cipher that I showed in class. It's a little bit tougher to show on video. Okay, this is another cipher. It's called the Pig Pen Cipher, and it's just a basic, what we call a substitution cipher. Where the ciphertext is written right here, and it corresponds to this, this substitution that we see here. And so what we're doing is we're looking for which letter corresponds to kind of the 7 shape with a dot in it. Well, that would be this piece right here, because it has that angle with a dot in it. So we're saying P, this is an A, this is an R, and I'm writing in plain text. See what I mean? It's tough for me sometimes. I'm writing in plain text, so R, A, L, L, the full box is an E. This with the dot in it is this one up here, it's the L. Let's see, parallel, and then O. This just 7 is the G. This right here is my R. That's an A again, and then that's an M. So that coded message says parallelogram. I'm going to let you go ahead and figure this one out. This one's going to incorporate the ones at the bottom with the kind of angle-looking symbols. Okay, and that'll be it for today. So just a quick intro to what cryptology is and what we're going to be learning. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.